Hi, welcome to the channel, Budget Audio Review and Upgrades. First of all, thanks for all the comments, and I've got quite a few new subscribers recently as well, so thank you for subscribing, and hopefully I'm going to come across something that you like somewhere along the line. Obviously it's going to be a load of stuff you're not going to be interested in at all, or I'm going to talk a load of rubbish about something maybe you think, I don't know, but I'm trying my best here. I can only say what I think it sounds like, and you know, it's all my opinion, obviously. What I will say also is thanks for people mentioning that you can't hear me properly, etc. I will at some stage get another camera and some microphones as the channel progresses, and hopefully you'll hear me a bit more clearer and understand what I'm rattling on about. But today is the turn of this. This is a Duette SA-400 amplifier, an integrated amplifier, so you can plug in your old turntable, etc. Well, turntable into it, as well as other things. But this was made in 1966, thereabouts in Japan. A bit of obscurity here. Not a very well-known make, I suppose. Not a very well-known amplifier. I do try and throw something, new into the mix that someone may not have heard about, etc. Just to give you an idea that sometimes you may pick up a bargain, you may pick up something there that no one's heard of, and it's pretty good. But obviously you're going to go through a lot of these obscure ones, and the reason they're obscure because they're no good, they're rubbish kind of thing. It's it's just it's pot luck really, but you don't know until you try, so to speak. And like I say, I like to mix it up rather than keep putting the same ones, same makes of speakers, which I've seen got quite a few of these more than short recently. And Sansui amplifiers, some of these suddenly turn up or whatever, or Marantz amplifiers, etc. You're kind of going to get a bit fed up with the same ones, keep appearing. Okay, so let's have a look at the front. And with these old amplifiers, you're going to notice that old scratch switch there, the old scratch switch. Some of these had scratch and one of them had rumble, etc. But you can tell it's an old amplifier, so to speak, with that. Okay, here's the rear. There's your connections for the rear. And let's have a little look inside. So we're going to have a look inside. Now, what I will say, I just want to bring to your attention two things really. Don't forget this is 50 odd years old, 55 years old, somewhere around there. And I think these capacitors are probably right on their last legs maybe, so this may have some comparison on the sound here. These probably need replacing. Probably a little project here for someone, not me. I haven't got the time, I'm afraid, but maybe to replace these capacitors at some stage, and it may bring a bit more life into this amplifier. I'm not saying it's definitely going to, but it could do. And another thing to notice is at some stage this volume control has been replaced. This is not the original volume control. This is the right value. The volume control may have been replaced, well, it has been replaced, but the actual volume running there is the right value, but the tapping for the loudness may be in the wrong position. What I'm saying is, if you don't know, a lot of these old amplifiers with volume controls, rather than having just 3 tags, it's a stereo control, but we'll just do one channel, 3 tags, you've got the either end and you've got the wiper. With these volume controls, they've got the 2 either end ones, the wiper, but then they've got one somewhere, it could be halfway, it's usually about a third of the way into it. A little tag there, and that's put through a little circuit and goes to the loudness switch. It's just a thing, the way they did it. This has been replaced by one that's got that tag, but it may be in the wrong place. It's not really going to matter for this review, to be honest with you, because I don't ever turn the loudness switch on doing these reviews. I always leave it off. But with this volume control as well, it's a stepper one where it actually steps as you turn it, you get a little click. Now that wouldn't have been on the original amplifier, it would have been just a sweeping one like these are. So you're getting a little click. And it's not quite as linear as it should be, because as you're turning it round, it kind of creeps up volume wise, but then all of a sudden you just move it one little more notch and it can kind of double in volume. Again, it's not really going to put me off of reviewing this amplifier, because when I review these amplifiers and connect them up to speakers and everything and listen to tracks and everything, I always make sure each, as far as I know, as far as I can get it, hearing wise, that each amplifier is in exactly the same position volume wise. Always got the balance, obviously in the centre, so I don't know if I mentioned that, but I've got the bass and treble in the centre as well. That's how I do the reviews on all the amplifiers. Okay, so now let's get on to how it actually sounds. Oh, one more thing, I just wanted to bring your attention as well, just go back inside again here. Just want to mention these output transistors, these are Sanyo 2SB 474 6Bs. Now these are germanium transistors. And people think that these say that these germanium transistors actually sound a little bit more smoother on the vocals and that than maybe current kind of transistors. The way they're made up these days, these made out of germanium just give that a little bit better sound, so to speak. Just want to just want to mention that. And what I will mention there is is a site to go to here that I didn't really get any information about this, couldn't find a lot of information about this amplifier, but the bloke who runs this site, and the link's going to be down below, and it's definitely worth going there if you're looking for some obscure amplifiers, receivers, etc. Something that other people may not come across, so you may be able to sneak in and get a bargain. Only going by this geezer's judgment, I can't say if he's right or wrong, but he seems to like these germanium transistors. He likes these germanium transistors, but he likes the model above this. These Duette done an SA-400 amplifier, about 16 watts a channel, and he seems quite keen on that one. That's the one of the reviews on his channel. He replaced the caps, etc. on there, and he gives it quite, he's quite pleasing with the sound by the sounds of it. But anyway, that's that particular amplifier. I'm going to go back to how this one actually sounded. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it up against this Sansui AU101. I've kind of got this as a benchmark amplifier at the moment for budget amplifiers. If you're talking about a budget amplifier, I'm going to kind of like give this as the benchmark. And back when this came out in 1966, only by what I read off the site, this was about £32 back then. So just give you an idea how much it was. Anyway, I don't know what you're going to pay for this now. I'm guessing 40, 50 quid, something like that. Maybe not, you know what I mean? And we're going by this Sansui here. Like I say, if you're going to go and buy one of them today, it's probably going to cost you 60 or 80 UK pounds, dollars, $80, $100, something like that, depending on condition and everything. But we're going to put it up against this, give some kind of idea which one's the best and how they sound, comparisons against each other. Played a vast number of tracks as normal. We'll come back to one particular track that I really enjoyed on this amplifier here, and I actually enjoyed it just a little bit more on another amplifier that I'm going to review straight after this. So I don't know when it's going to go up on the channel, but I will be reviewing it straight after this, doing the video while I've got them down here. Okay, we're going to start off with the bottom end here, the bass. Obviously I use floor standards as well as normal bookshelf speakers, a variety of speakers on it really. Quite a weighty bass to this. It's quite weighty, the bass. It's a lot more weighty, we'll say a lot more, it's weightier than this bass here on this bottom amp. It's definitely more weightier. But the only thing is it's got more of a wobble to it, it's more, it's not so defined, it's not so controlled, the bass, but it's got a thump to it, it's plenty of bass there. So if you've got a set of speakers that are a bit bass shy, maybe not floor standards because they're usually pretty bassy floor standards, but if you've got bookshelf speakers that not got a lot of bass to them, this is going to help you out tons, you know what I mean? But it may not be controlled and so detailed, but it's definitely going to help you out in the bass department. So for shy bass speakers, this is going to be ideal. If you've got speakers that are quite bassy, it's maybe not going to do many favours at all, I don't think. The vocals and the amount of female vocals sounded nice. I'm going to come back to one particular track in a minute. But they sounded smooth, they sounded nice. It wasn't really, the actual overall sound stage, it wasn't really that focused, I don't think, the actual overall sound stage wasn't that focused. The treble was nice, the treble was okay, nothing wrong with the treble, the hi-hats, the cymbals, the brushes and all that kind of stuff, that sounded nice, it sounded good, it was detailed, it's kind of like pretty, it was on par with detail, this was just a little bit more detailed I suppose, but it weren't a million miles away, the detail was quite nice, and I was a bit surprised, to be honest with you. I thought it came out nicely. Okay, what I'm going to do is just talk about this one track. It's obviously I played other tracks, but just give you an idea what was that in this one particular track. I played Dina Carroll So Close, and I played it with the amplifier as well. And just want to kind of give it a comparison. When I say this has got a lot more of a flat, this has got more of an open, nicer sound stage. You've got more depth to it, that kind of thing. Well, this is more flat of a sound stage. It was wide enough, between the speakers it's fairly wide, but it just didn't have any depth at all to it really. Like if I can kind of give you how to explain it. If you're like got a football pitch and you're on the halfway line and the band's down one of the goals, with this amplifier here, it was all happening. You was at the halfway line on your sofa, sitting back relaxing, and the band was down the other end. You know what I mean? It was down there. All the action was down there in the goal mouth, down the other end of the pitch, so to speak. All the singing, everything sounded level and flat, really. To be honest with you, well, on this amplifier here, the vocals, the vocals were nice. It was up there, it's coming, they're near enough. They're past halfway between you and the kind of goal kind of thing. This is where the vocals were. There's plenty of space between them. The backing singers had space between the main vocals. It was more depth to it, like it just sounded. It just sounded a lot nicer. It's got a nicer sound, or basically it's got a nicer sound. This amplifier all round really. Like the bass is, like I say, it's not got so much bass as this, but it's so much more controlled, so much so much tighter, so much control, so much detail in it. Like it's just better. Straight away you could tell the difference in the bass. The vocals are pretty good. The vocals are pretty good on this. It's quite smooth, but this, just edges it again with the vocals actually sound wise. But like I say, that space, that kind of like the overall feel, the dimension to the music and everything was a lot better on here. It was a lot better. So all in all, it ain't a bad amplifier. It ain't bad. you know, for a cheap amplifier, you're going to pick this up at £20 or £30 or something like that. And like I say, if you want to change them capacitors, I don't know how much it's going to cost you to go through and do them. Not a fortune, I would have thought. Not a lot. They're all pretty small in there. So, you know, maybe a little project for someone who's going to get it. But if you're just going to go and buy one of these normally, you know, maybe you want to pay 20 or 30 quid and that's about it. I don't think you want to pay much more than that. But it's not a bad amplifier by any stretch of the imagination. You know, it's not rubbish or anything like that. It's not bad, you know what I mean? It's going to do you a turn, so to speak. And it's not bad at all. But, you know, if you've got a choice between the two, you're going to use, you know, pick this bottom one all day long, like, you know, I mean, it's definitely the one to pick. So that's it really. Like I say, no, the overall of this is the bass is a bit wobbly, not so controlled, a bit flat. The sound's a bit flat, like actual depth-wise, and that stage weren't bad. You know what I mean? That weren't too bad. Vocals were quite nice. They're quite smooth and nice. The vocals. IN was okay as well, and that really wraps that amplifier up, I think. Okay, so I'll say thanks for watching. I'm going to come back and do another video now. Hopefully I'll get that on the channel very, very shortly after this one, matching this Sansui 101 against the Sansui AU2200. Until that video, I'll say thanks for watching and I'll see you all soon.